Ladies and gentlemen, it is Key Time Sports coming back with another one to talk about Week 7 of the NFL season, which kicks off tonight between the Denver Broncos and the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints have a new quarterback at the helm for tonight's game, Spencer Rattler. Now, most people, they might not know who Spencer Rattler is, but I'm going to go down a list and tell you what he did in college. Spencer Rattler, he played college ball with the South Carolina Gamecocks, had three decent seasons there, and then he was drafted last year by the New Orleans Saints. He played backup last season, didn't really get much time, and then Derek Carr earlier in the season had experienced injuries, and now he has been starting ever since Derek Carr has been injured. So now the Denver Broncos, they have a great defense, and the New Orleans Saints, after the first two games, have had a pedestrian offense as of late. The Denver Broncos are favored in this game to win, and I think the Denver Broncos will win because the defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, he has improved from that Miami debacle the Broncos had last year up until now. Bo Nix is coming together. His teammates are rallying around him. And I said before the season started, the Denver Broncos will win, will have some victories in the form of upsets. And I think that since they are favored in this game, they'll win this game outright because the New Orleans offense has been pedestrian, anemic. They can't stay on the field for anything, and they can't stay on the field when it comes to third down offense. Since week 2, they've been last in the NFL in third down offense. And plus, they've lost 4 straight games since their week 2 blowout win versus Dallas. And we all know what Dallas is now. So I got the Denver Broncos winning this game by at least a touchdown, if not more. Because the New Orleans Saints, they have a bad run defense and they are not able to get off the field on third down. Those are the two reasons why I'm going with the Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos, I got them winning by a touchdown or more. It could be a blowout. The next game I want to talk about is the New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville. This is a game that you should win outright. You shouldn't have any problems with the New England Patriots. But I am not going to say that it is going to be a blowout because the Jacksonville Jaguars haven't been able to get out of their own way. You've had the head coach, Doug Peterson, said. You've had Trevor Lawrence said. You've had the wide receivers, tight ends, the defensive backs say it. And on top of that, the defensive coordinator, he doing his best just to keep everything together and not have anything go out of control. But let's see if they can. Let's see if the Jaguars. I'm gonna say this. Let's see if the Jaguars can neutralize one of the worst offenses in the NFL because this game is given to them on a silver platter. The New England Patriots don't have a good offense. They don't even have a number one wide receiver. The Jaguars, they have a number one wide receiver in Brian Thompson Jr., the player that came from the LSU Tigers. So Jaguars have a number one wide receiver. New England, they don't have anything. They just have Drake May. So the Jacksonville Jaguars should win this game outright, but I am not going to say that this is going to be a blowout. The Jaguars will win in a close game. Hopefully they win. I'm expecting them to win, but this is the NFL, and what is that phrase that NFL fans always hear? Any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, depending on how far you are along in the season. So the Jacksonville Jaguars should be able to win this game, and they are expected to win this game. So I got the Jaguars winning by a field goal in this game. It could be much closer than that. We don't know. But worst case scenario, the Jaguars lose this game, and now you're 1-6. The best case scenario, they win this game convincingly, even though Monday we all are going to come in here and say that the Jaguars are supposed to win against a subpar team. So I got the Jaguars winning. The next game I want to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons. This game right here, you got the Atlanta Falcons, really one of the surprising early season starts in the NFL. Nobody expected Atlanta to come out 4-2 after 6 games. And then you have Seattle 3-3 on the verge of going 3-4, because I think that Atlanta, they have a much deeper offense and a much better defense than the Seattle Seahawks have. You have one quarterback in Kirk Cousins, who is his tier since he's come to Atlanta, his tier and his stock has just rise. And then you have Geno Smith. Since he's come to Seattle, he's had up and down games throughout his time in Seattle. And I believe Seattle, they will have another up and down game in the form of a loss, because Atlanta, they are one of my dark horse teams officially to make it into the playoffs, and I believe that they can make some noise. The head coach, Raheem Morris, he's got them guys believing that they can make some noise this year. So Atlanta, I have them winning this game by 10 points or more, because I think that Seattle's offense is really turnover prone. And we saw versus the San Francisco 49ers, where basically Geno Smith had to throw his way back, had to throw the Seattle Seahawks back into the game to make it competitive, because before halftime, the San Francisco 49ers was just running up and down the field. Even though that they was kicking field goals, it was 16-3. And then at the end of the game, it was 36-24. So the Seattle Seahawks, they haven't been able to get out of their own way at all throughout this season. Even in the wins, they don't look convincing. I mean, the wins that they've had a win over Miami, and we know what Miami is now. You had a win over Denver, and we know what Denver is now, a young upcoming team that could possibly make some noise. But Seattle was one of those teams that has a new coach, and with the new coaching staff, they coming into the season, they was going to be able to take the next step. And as of right now, they haven't took the next step. They are just trying to keep their head above water. And they are teetering in that downward spiral fall when you just trying to keep your head above water early in the season. And then when you get later on into the season to those higher ranked teams and those teams that are starting to make a long playoff run, Seattle Seahawks, they are going to run into some problems with that. But really, they're going to run into some problems with the Atlanta offense this week. That's why I have the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are winning this game. And even though Atlanta is favored by 3, I believe they win this game by 10 points or more, because the Seahawks, they are prone at turning the ball over. They turned the ball over 2 times versus the 49ers. Versus the Miami Dolphins, they turned the ball over 2 times there. versus the Denver Broncos, they turned the ball over 2 times there. So in every game this season, the Seattle Seahawks has turned the ball over at least 2 times. And you know what I say about turnovers? Turnovers can keep your opponent in the game, and then at the end of the game, if it's close, your opponent can steal the win away from you. And that is what the Seattle Seahawks, they have been doing throughout the entirety of the season. I don't have much confidence in their offensive line, confidence in Geno Smith. It teeters from week to week. Some weeks he could be playing at the top of his game, and then other weeks he can be at the bottom of the damn barrel, like I say. So this week, I got Atlanta winning this game. The next game I want to talk about is the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills. Now, Tennessee, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Tennessee is a dumpster fire right now. They got Will Levis, and Will Levis is a turnover machine, which leads into my next point when it comes to Will Levis. Will Levis, he has averaged 3 turnovers in every game that he has played this season. He's a turnover machine. Tennessee, they not going to the playoffs. They are not going anywhere. And plus, with the Buffalo Bills coming into the season, we all thought that they were going to take a step back. But you see what's going on in the AFC East right now with Buffalo, New York, Miami, and you also have the Patriots. We all know that the Patriots are a dumpster fire. They are at the bottom of the basement in their division right now, and they will be at season's end. But as far as the Buffalo Bills, outside of Keon Coleman, and then the tight end, the tight end, who else does the Buffalo Bills have? It remains to be seen who else they have. So now, when you see the Buffalo Bills, they have Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman, and you have to have somebody else, which leads to Amari Cooper. They just brought in Amari Cooper, so you have a 3-dimension. You have 3 great players, 1 tight end and 2 wide receivers. Amari Cooper, he is not the same like he was 6 or 7 years ago, but he is still able to give you a complete wide receiver production like the Buffalo Bills need week in and week out. In Cleveland, we know that he just didn't want to be in Cleveland no more. I mean, you could see it in those games where Deshaun Watson would throw passes to Amari Cooper and he wouldn't catch the ball, or what he would do is he would catch the ball and he would go right on out of bounds. So the player cohesiveness and the player and getting acquainted with both of those players, Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper, it just wasn't there anymore. So that's why the Buffalo Bills got Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper, he is gonna have a good role in this Buffalo Bills offense, because most of the attention when it comes to the Bills offense is centered around Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid. But since you have a third domino effect with Amari Cooper coming into the fold, now defenses has got to center their attention around all of these 3 guys, not to mention the running backs they have coming out of the backfield. And Buffalo, they always keep them at least 2 or 3 good running backs. So Buffalo Bills, they are going to become a well-oiled machine, which leads to my prediction for this game. Buffalo Bills, they are a 9-point favorite in this game. Buffalo Bills will blow out the Tennessee Titans, and this is not even going to be a contest. In the third quarter, I expect the Buffalo Bills to at least have a 2-touchdown or 3-touchdown lead, because Tennessee Titans, they haven't shown any type of They haven't shown any type of action of being competitive in these games. And the Tennessee Titans, what they need to do is go on ahead and just get prepared for the 2025 NFL draft, which comes in April. So that's all they need to do. The next game I want to talk about is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. Cincinnati, they should win this game, and they are expected to win this game because the Cleveland Browns, they should have buyer's remorse for excuse me. They should have buyer's remorse for getting Deshaun Watson and making his contract, all of it guaranteed. Deshaun Watson, he doesn't even have to suit up for the Cleveland Browns anymore. He could just sit back on the bench like this and just and just watch the games and just simply be a fan because he know he getting paid $80 million at every game. He know that. So that's why he has just, it seems like Deshaun Watson, from what he says in the press conferences, and y'all know I don't like to take too much away from press conferences, but from what he's saying in the press conferences, he's still there mentally. He's in a rut as far as efficient wise playing out there on the field. But to the average fan and to the average journalist like myself, this is not what we saw in Houston. This is not what we saw in his time when he was in college at Clemson. He hasn't took over a game at all since he's been in Cleveland. So I think what the Browns need to do is ship Deshaun Watson out of Cleveland. Also, this is where Cleveland gets its name from. The mistake by the lake. And the Cleveland Browns has made many mistakes over the past 31 years when it comes to quarterbacks. The last good quarterback the Cleveland Browns have had was Bernie Kosar, and that was back in the 80s. That was 85, 86, and 87 when they were playing against the Denver Broncos. Most of the audience, if you are the older audience, you know what I'm talking about. If you are a person that is under 45 years old, you can go on YouTube and find out who is Bernie Kosar and look up the history of the Cleveland Browns from the time that they were, since the year of their inception in 1946 up until now. They have not had good quarterbacks. They have not centered their cornerstone players around quarterbacks. It's always been a wide receiver, a tight end, or in this case, when you talk about the Cleveland Browns, a running back. But as far as now, Cleveland, they one of the worst teams in the NFL. They need to go ahead, get prepared for the draft, and let's see if they could get a functioning quarterback in this upcoming draft in April. So in this game, I have the Cincinnati Bengals winning this game. They are favored by 5.5 points. I believe they win by more than a touchdown against the Cleveland Browns. I wouldn't even be surprised if this game is a blowout in Cincinnati's favor. So I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win by a touchdown or more. The next game I want to talk about is the Houston Texans and Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, he's back in the fold. He's back from injury. The last 2 games, he's had good showings in those games. He's thrown 5 touchdowns in the last, he's thrown 6 touchdown passes in the last 6 games, Jordan Love. And then you have C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans with Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, and you also have 2 good running backs for the Houston Texans coming into Lambeau Field of all places and trying to get a win. Historically, this is the 3rd time in history that the Houston Texans have played in Lambeau Field. And let me tell you, Houston has never won in Lambeau Field before. And I don't think that Houston is going to win in Lambeau Field this time around, because Christian Watson, then you have Romeo Dobbs, then you have the tight ends for the Packers, then you have a good defense for the Packers that is able to get off the field and get turnovers when they are needed. So I got the Green Bay Packers winning this game. By all means, this game is going to be close. The Packers, they are a 2.5-point favorite currently right now as we speak, according to all sports books. I think that this game is going to be close. I believe that this game is going to be a shootout. And where the Green Bay Packers will win this game is the Packers defense get a couple of turnovers off of the Houston Texans and put points on the board with those turnovers. That's how the Green Bay Packers will win this game, because both offenses, the Packers and Texans, are elite. They are in the top 10 in the NFL right now. But I'm going to say it's hard to go into Lambeau Field and get a win with that rowdy fan base, and they can make it loud for the opposing quarterback. The Green Bay Packers are going to win this game, and I got them winning this game by a touchdown or more. The next game I want to talk about is the Miami Dolphins and Indianapolis Colts. Who is the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins? We do not know. We know it is Tyler Huntley at the fold. Tyler Huntley, he has been a career backup for the Ravens. He didn't have to do much in that playoff stretch with the Ravens a couple years ago. And then last year, he was a backup when Lamar Jackson didn't suit up for the last couple of games of the season he played. So you don't have too much tape of Tyler Huntley on. You don't have too much game tape of Tyler Huntley. And as far as the Indianapolis Colts, almighty Joe Flacco come in. He's came in, held down the fort, keeping Indianapolis relevant and having them have a chance to make the playoffs. And I think that Indianapolis will win this game, because you don't know what you're going to see from Miami. Miami is putrid on the offensive line. They have a putrid offense. They are 31st in total offense. That's including points, third down efficiency, and also total yards. Total yards. Miami is 28th in total yards. So this game, Indianapolis should win outright, but I expect this game to be close at the start of the game. And then it should be a blowout by the time we get to, I'm going to say it should be a blowout by the time we get to mid third quarter, early fourth. So that is exactly what I see. The next game I want to talk about is the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota 5-0 for the first time since 2016, where they started 6-0. Your undefeated streak is going to come to an end this week. The Detroit Lions, I predicted before the season, the Detroit Lions would win the NFC North, and I am still having them as the NFC North champions. And I think that after the game that the Detroit Lions had versus my Dallas Cowboys, I might add you, they are just a runaway train. Now, everybody in the NFC North can make the playoffs. They are the only division in the NFL that every team has a winning record. So I've never seen a team. There has never been a division in NFL history that all four teams make it to the playoffs. That'll be the first time in history if we are able to see it. But I don't think that we're going to be able to see it because Detroit, they are a runaway train. And I think Minnesota, they are going to have problems against the Detroit Lions. So I'm picking the Detroit Lions to win this game in an upset because as of right now, the Minnesota Vikings are favored in all sports books to win this game. But the Detroit Lions, they have a run of the muck mentality. They like to make games ugly, keep it close, and then win it in the end. And I think that's exactly what the Detroit Lions will do in this game. So I got the Detroit Lions winning by a field goal in this game. The next game I want to talk about is the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. This game is going to be close. I got Philadelphia winning this game completely on the realm of Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Over the years, the New York Giants have had trouble containing A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And not to mention the tight end for the Eagles, Dallas Goedert. New York Giants, they've had trouble with all three of those guys through over the years, and I expect them to have trouble with the Eagles offense again. I expect Jalen Hurts to have one hell of a day against this defense. This defense is almost at the bottom of the NFL in total defense at 27. Then you have I'm not going to say a pedestrian offense, but an offense that at times can get you down there to the end zone, can score, but they cannot consistently score touchdowns week in and week out. And that is where the New York Giants' downfall will be in this game. So the Philadelphia Eagles, they are favored by 3 points right now. I expect them to win by a touchdown or more. And I expect the New York Giants to lose this game and be at the bottom of the NFC East. The next game I want to talk about is the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are going to win this game outright. Gardner Minshew, I've told everybody, Gardner Minshew is just a career backup. He is not a starting quarterback. So the Las Vegas Raiders, I don't know what they are going to do, but as far in terms of ownership, they have a new addition in ownership. Tom Brady is a majority owner, a minority owner for the Las Vegas Raiders. So what he needs to do is give his expertise to Mark Davis and to see how they can bolster that roster and become I'm not going to use the word respectful, but become an opponent that will be a force to reckon with for years to come. But as of right now, I got the Los Angeles Rams winning this game by, I'm going to say 10 points, because the Raiders, they are turnover prone too. In every game this season, I am going to give y'all a couple of stats. In every game this season, the Raiders have turned the ball over at least 3 times. 2 against the Denver Broncos, 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 against their other opponents, and then they turned the ball over 3 times against the LA Chargers earlier in the season. And I expect them to turn the ball over 2 times in this game. So I got the Los Angeles Rams winning this game by a touchdown, if not more. The next game I want to talk about is the Carolina Panthers and the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders are another surprising team that has came out in droves. This is their best start since 2008 at 4-2. So, this game right here, the Carolina Panthers, everybody knows how I feel about the Panthers. This is going to be, the Panthers are a team that is just getting ready for the future. If any team is in desperate need of a win, play the Carolina Panthers and you are guaranteed to win that game. Now, the Washington Commanders offense is in the top 15. Defense is in the top 15. You got Jaden Daniels. You got scary Terry McLaurin. And then you have a good defense that can get off the field on third downs consistently, led by Dan Quinn as the head coach. The Washington Commanders are going to win this game in a blowout, and I see it happening. I see it happening. The Washington Commanders, they are a force to be reckoned with. They put the whole NFL on notice when they went to Baltimore and stayed pace with Baltimore throughout the entirety of the game. Washington has put the NFL on notice. And with that, that's all I have for that game. The Washington Commanders, they are an 8.5-point favorite. The Washington Commanders will win this game by at least 10 points or more in the form of a blowout. The next game I want to talk about is, a lot of people are saying that this is the Super Bowl rematch. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint as another game. The Kansas City Chiefs, but I'm going to say this, a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. The last 4 times the San Francisco 49ers have played the Chiefs, they've lost every time. The last time the San Francisco 49ers won against the Chiefs was in 2018. So that is a long time in sports for you not to beat a team. It's been 6 years. I mean, that I wouldn't even tell nobody that. But one thing about it, a couple of the 49er players have came out and said that we know that we have a good team. We are able to keep pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just been a couple of plays here and there that has lost us the game. Now, I'm going to tell you, that Super Bowl last year, the 49ers could have easily won that game. And most people, from the average NFL fan, they should have won that game. But it was two or three sequences in the game where the Kansas City Chiefs took over and they didn't give up the momentum. So this game right here, it's really tough to pick this game, but I think since the Chiefs, both of these teams are coming off of a bye week, so rest is not a factor. But I just see the Chiefs winning this game again. I just see the Chiefs winning over the 49ers again, because it's just something that the San Francisco 49ers, that momentum, when they get in these games against the Chiefs, they can be teetering. And the momentum, it just takes one play for the momentum to go overwhelmingly in the 49ers' favor, and then they don't make that play. Last year in the Super Bowl, they were up by 10 early in the third quarter, and it just seems like, it was like, okay, I was saying, the 49ers are just one play away from making this Super Bowl overwhelmingly get in their favor. and they never could get that one play. And I think that it's going to be the same way in this game. So I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game because ultimately, Kansas City, they have some injuries, but when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, as long as Patrick Mahomes is in the fold for the Chiefs, they'll be able to win any game. Now, what the San Francisco 49ers can do is not turn the ball over and be efficient on every drive. Not saying that they have to score a touchdown on every drive, but at least get in the field goal range and make your field goals when they are at your disposal. So in this game, I got the Chiefs winning this game in an upset. I mean, when it comes to the Chiefs, are they really underdogs in this game? And let me tell you, since the Chiefs have had Patrick Mahomes, they have been underdogs plenty of times. Most of the time, they come out as the victors on the other side of games like this. So this game, I'm expecting the Chiefs to win this game by at least a touchdown or more. It could become a blowout if the San Francisco 49ers start turning the ball over at an alarming rate. But I think that this is going to be a close game. I got the Chiefs winning this game. The next game I want to talk about is the New York Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers. As of right now, the New York Jets are favored in this game. And I believe the reason why the New York Jets are favored, because of the addition that they made 48 hours ago from getting Davante Adams out of Vegas and having him come to the Big Apple. So I wouldn't be surprised if the New York Jets won this game, because the Pittsburgh Steelers offense with Justin Fields has been pedestrian most times. And then there are other times where the Steelers have to depend on the defense to win football games. And in today's time, you cannot win games consistently with your quarterback throwing under 250 yards a game. So I am taking the New York Jets in this game strictly on the fact that the New York Jets have a better offense. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a better defense. But in this game, if the game is going to be close and you put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands, and you don't need the Jets does not need Aaron Rodgers to be MVP Aaron Rodgers. But if he can find a way to nickel and dime the Pittsburgh Steelers defense consistently in this game, the Jets will be able to win this game. Now, as of that, I got the Jets winning this game by a field goal. The next two games I am going to talk about is Monday Night Football between the Baltimore Ravens, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Los Angeles Chargers and Arizona Cardinals. So, both of these games are against teams in Baltimore and the LA Chargers that have the same blueprint, and they are led by the Harbaugh brothers. Baltimore, I expect Baltimore to come into this game, and this is basically going to be a close game. But one thing about Baker Mayfield, he has been turnover prone. He threw 3 interceptions against the New Orleans Saints last week. I expect him to turn the ball over this week versus a Baltimore Ravens defense that is top 10 in the NFL in total defense. So I got the Baltimore Ravens winning this game by a touchdown. The next and the game, the Chargers and Arizona Cardinals, I got the LA Chargers winning this game by 10 points or more, because the LA Chargers, they are going to center their attention around Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray, and that's basically the Arizona Cardinals' whole offense right there. Because outside of the running backs, they haven't done much. They haven't given the Cardinals much production. The tight ends, they haven't given the Cardinals much production this season. And you have the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are a run-first team before they pass. And the Chargers, they have a better defense than they had last season. So I got the Chargers winning this game by 10 points. And with that, plus we have two teams on a bye week this week, the Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. And with that, those are my predictions for week 7 of the 2024 NFL season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. And also follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And one last thing, remember, the key is always on time.